Summer Games Fest is an important day for gaming, and for Porsche, apparently. It is also a week-long event, and not just one live stream. So since I couldn't record my reaction for the shows, today I just wanted to go over the highlights of the new E3 week for me. First, Summer Games Fest, which I saw in a theater. Firstly, the host, Geoff Keighley, the man known for making bad decisions, is a fine host. He does the job. I just mentioned this so you could see the embarrassing clip of me being the only one in my 8-person theater cheering for him.
Geoff Keighley!
The show starts off with the Prince of Persia reveal, which, I guess is cool. I've only seen the movie though, and I didn't even know it was a game series till last year. Next is Mortal Kombat, and I'll keep it brief. I don't really care at all. It looks cooler than most Mortal Kombat games gameplay-wise, but I'm just not a fan of the overblown violence on hyper-realistic models. Path of Exile 2 is shown off before Geoff says Capcom recently released Street Fighter 6, and says the team at Capcom have an important update to share with you. Oh, is it DLC? I guess it's DLC costumes? Exoprimal! Yeah, this trailer was just super weird and kind of confusing. I just didn't know what was happening the whole time until I remembered Exoprimal was a real thing and not something I made up in a coma. Then he spends 5 minutes with Nicolas Cage, which, knowing that Geoff Keighley just loves movies, I bet he was creaming his pants up there. Which, to be fair, I would be creaming too if I got to bring Nicolas Cage to a show I host. But I don't play Dead by Daylight. Next is a couple games I don't care about. 2D Sonic? I lost it. I couldn't believe it, and it actually looks good. While the visual style is a bit mixed, the gameplay looks fun, with actual unique levels and playable Amy, and they made it multiplayer? I appreciate the upgrade in animation. This could be the first Sonic game in years to be at least a 7 out of 10. Also, Fang is back, so that's pretty cool. Sonic was then followed by Honkai Star Rail and a Liza P demo. Apparently it's just Bloodborne, which is probably really cool to a very specific kind of person. It looks pretty great though. Next is the last thing I cared about for 30 minutes, which is Sandland. Now, before the presentation, I had no clue Sandland was an actual thing. I knew a couple of Toriyama's past work, like Arale and Dragon Ball, but Sandland's new to me. The game looks fun though, it has a cool style, and I can't wait to see some gameplay. Here's 10 minutes on Alan Wake 2. Now, I know this is anticipated and all, but why did this have more time than Sonic and the same as Mortal Kombat? Mortal Kombat made sense, it was the big gameplay reveal. We've seen Alan Wake 2 gameplay. It was basically just 10 minutes of them saying, yes, there's 2 characters in this game. Speaking of 2 characters, Spider-Man 2 got a short segment, which at first I thought would be like a release date trailer. It was just a release date. Yeah, I don't know. I thought they'd show some new gameplay or something. Instead he came up, said, Venom is not Eddie Brock, then dropped a date on us. The date's exciting though. Definitely my second most anticipated Sony game. Palworld was easily the funniest game they showed here. Me and the 2 other groups in my theater were laughing our asses off and pointing out all the complete rip-offs of Pokemon there were. It's like what people say Temtem is. Hell, even Geoff Keighley, our lord himself, says it's kind of like Pokemon with guns. The people next to me in the theater were joining me and my sister in laughing over the sheer stupidity. So here's a quick lightning round of every rip-off Pokemon there was. There's Wooloo, Eevee, Grass Ampharos, Gyarados, a Zora Zekrom hybrid, a Suicune Rapidash hybrid, Nickit Fire, Totoro Pikachu, Heracross, Pokeball, Shaman, Zora again, Moltres, Pikachu and Flaffy hybrid, Lapras, Fortnite and Breath of the Wild, Marshadow and Skitty, Grass Donphan, whatever the hell this thing is takes a lot from Suicune, Heatran, Draculaura, Grass Gardevoir, Iron Salamence, Latias hybrid. Whew. I can't wait to never think about that again. Skipping ahead, there's a Lord of the Rings trailer that uses the exact same stock sound effect of Frank from Cars. And then Final Fantasy Ever Crisis, which looks to be a kind of cool reimagining that I just beg at least gets put on Switch. They seem to be teasing some sort of Sephiroth backstory, which is cool. We've never really gotten that. And also, they reference Genesis for the first time in a while, so that's pretty cool. This trailer's cool and all, I just wish it clarified a bit more, because it was the only trailer in the entire presentation where everyone in the theater asked, who's Glenn? Later we have a trailer for Like a Dragon Gaiden, which begs the question, is Yakuza just going to be called Like a Dragon in the West now? Anyway, it looked pretty cool with a lot of enemies, and he's Spider-Man now. There's a new map for Call of Duty. Oh my god, where's Porsche?
Today is a big day for video games, but also a huge day for Porsche.
Yes! Listen, I love ProZD, but him showing up here was like a jump scare, because I went to the bathroom during Marvel Snap and came back and ProZD was on the giant silver screen. Then they showed Lisfanga, which actually looks pretty cool. It seems you can basically do a level multiple times, and whatever you do on one attempt carries over. Second to last was Fortnite Wilds, which is already out. I've played it, it's a lot of fun, the new map's great, even though the battle pass is just okay. Optimus Prime kinda carries it for me. And finally, the grand finale was apparently from a company who's made classic RPGs and redefined the genre. Oh my god, is it Angry Birds Epic? This Final Fantasy VII trailer made no sense and I loved it. It starts off with the whole gang minus Cloud, presumably dead because of a giant tornado. Then the rest of the trailer seems like a completely faithful Final Fantasy VII remake, until it's not, and it's so crazy, I cannot wait for this game, it's gonna be a wild ride. It ends with Tifa being killed by Sephiroth and the guy next to me yelled, "What?" The delay's unfortunate, but I bet it'll be polished to hell. This is my most anticipated Sony game ever and I can't wait, I love Final Fantasy VII. And that was the Summer Games Fest presentation. Overall, it was really fun. It had something for everybody and was just better paced than usual. The audience energy helped a lot too. So I'd say it was Geoff Keighley's best show, and I can't wait for Geoff's big winter blast. Next is Xbox Games Showcase and Starfield Direct. I can't wait. I'm gonna be honest, I only watch these because most of them end up being multi-platform. So, because I was late to this one, and because I was watching good content, this will be more of a skim through it. I hope Banjo-Kazooie's there. They start off with the most uncanny trailer ever. What is that? And then they show it's basically just Ratatouille the Ride as a game, and I get it now. There's a banjo! 2-minute trailer with no gameplay. Ooh, let's keep a tally. Ooh, a new Star Wars game. I wonder how it'll play. Oh, they're forcing me to watch Ubisoft.
Deep dive into one of the most important RPGs ever made, Starfield.
How can you call a game that's not out one of the most important RPGs ever made? Can I call a fetus one of the most important people ever made? Payday 3. Someone's happy. Oh boy, a new announcement from Atlas! Someone's happy. Dune and Microsoft Flight Simulator. I can't tell if they showed gameplay, so I'm adding a half tally. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is shown. Here lies the name Yakuza though. It gets the no gameplay tally, but at least it was funny and I can assume the gameplay. Why are they still supporting this game? Next up, Capcom showed whatever that was. And next, a big surprise. They're making a new Forza, who could have known? Hey, a new Persona 5 game with Mario and Rabbids gameplay is an interesting art style too. Pretty cool. Okay, so they have a Starfield presentation after this, so instead of waiting to put Starfield at the end to remind people to stay, they put it right in the middle. Sure.
Hi.
Ah! Keanu Reeves is in the Cyberpunk DLC, which is pretty cool, but Cyberpunk sucks, so the creators of Shin Megami Tensei and Persona bring you definitely not Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. There was some clock game and now it's over. I'm not gonna watch the Starfield part because I don't care. Thank you, Xbox. Ubisoft was on Monday morning, and I'm gonna be honest, originally I wasn't gonna talk about it, but it was so bad it reminded me of a classic E3 show. It was slow, boring, and they absolutely refused to show gameplay of anything. And when they did, they zoomed in on the talker's face. The only announcement noteworthy enough for me to mention is Just Dance is an Olympic sport now, because God is dead. Finally, unless Nintendo decides to do something, is Capcom. Watching Capcom presentations is always a miss for me because I go in praying to God they remember what a lawyer is, and I come out with 2 new Resident Evils, 5 Monster Hunter updates, and a tumor. Oh my god, they remembered! I'm so happy to finally have a way to play the Apollo trilogy that doesn't involve squinting on a tiny ass DS screen. While I see people disappointed, just remember Ace Attorney 7 is coming eventually, and now we have more fans to beg Capcom to release it. Hopefully it sells well because I love Ace Attorney and I want to see more. The only other big announcement I was hoping for would be Mega Man. would be Mega Man. So they announced Mega Man X Dive is coming to Steam and mobile as an offline version, which makes sense. It's cool to preserve this game in a playable state after it shuts down. But that's it? It's been 5 years since the last Mega Man, and at this point, putting an announcement in a presentation for Mega Man and having it be a re-release of a game I could play right now and have it not come out until 2024, it just feels bad. And that's the end of Capcom's presentation. Pretty well paced, cool announcements, and that wraps up quote-unquote E3 2023, until Nintendo or Sony do something. And if they do, I'll just react to it. Overall, I thought this E3 season was pretty fun. It had some announcements I've been waiting years for, like a new 2D Sonic game and some new Ace Attorney stuff. I'm always glad to watch these this time of year, because it's great for conversation starters. I can go up to anyone I want talking to strangers and asking what their opinion on Dragon's Dogma 2 is. They told me to kill myself.